Good evening, everybody, and welcome to That's a Great Question podcast.
Wow.
Mr. Warrior in the Garden,
Yes, sir.
how are you doing this evening?
I am doing well. And yourself?
You're probably the first person I've talked to in 12 hours.
Oh, well, I feel privileged.
I've been trying to not say, not even yell at the cats.
Angry finger waving, aggressive,
Yes.
passive aggressive finger waving.
I tried to kick one of them, but they moved too quickly. Then I tried to hit one with my cane. That didn't work either. But anyway, Mr. Spaz, how you doing this evening?
No, I'm a little tired.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I think
I'm
I'm
with you.
through.
So I know that Reverend Rant is doing a show with Chris. He said he might be a little bit late, and I don't know where the other guy is, where Salty is. So if he shows up, he shows up. If he doesn't, he doesn't. So no big deal. Anyway, let me say hello to some people. Crazy Chuck, Zombie 5. What's up, Zombie? Sleigh Bells. Excuse me, Vanita 71. Welcome. Disco Daphne. Thank you very much for being here. And also on the YouTubes, Disco Daphne is this another super mod that does this out of the goodness of her heart. And everybody should really thank her and all the moderators who hang out with us and do what they do. I appreciate you all. Lightspear, how you doing? Spaz is here. Slanty Chauffeur Bear. Good. I'm losing my voice already. Let's see who else. That's it. I saw somebody with a cookie. That was Vanita. Thank you for the can. Thank you. White Wings. Thank you for being here. Jim Bob, welcome. Okay, Major Adams, how you doing? Eagle Freedom. All right, so I know you guys have been paying attention to what has been going on the last, I don't know, Thursday, Friday, Monday with the Supreme Court. And I think, thank you, Spaz, for the can. And I think we have some major precedents being set when it comes to the Supreme Court. Now, the biggest one that I have questions on, because, I mean, you guys, I don't know about you. Well, if you guys watch a lot of TikTok or not, I have no idea. Or Instagram, or, I mean, just basically anything where these lefty fucking weirdos decide to post their content talking about the immunity for Donald Trump, absolute immunity, which is not what they said, but thank you, Vanessa. Joe Elaine, welcome. So let me start off with Warrior. What do you think? First question is, what do you think? Has anything changed with the Supreme Court ruling as to immunity for the President of the United States? Not just the current or former, but the former, any of the presidents of the United States. Do you think that anything has changed with this Supreme Court ruling?
Well, it kind of seems like the other crimes against humanity or the crimes the president's committed, it's just they can say, well, that was a presidential act, and away it goes. So all these supposed crimes, the Bushes, the Clintons, the Obamas, all of them committed while in office, they can all now say it was under presidential official duties, and everything is then they get immunity on that. So then, I mean, it can be spotlighted and looked at it, but eventually it's just going to come down to this precedence. I don't think I don't feel as though it's as big of a win as people are playing it off. And I the reason why is because I think a lot of people are still searching for that hopium. They still want to get that fix, just like an addict. And so when they see this, now they're like, yeah, Trump's got immunity. Yeah, what now? Yeah, all right. Woo. And then it's just like, dude, shut the fuck up. You don't understand what you're saying. It's like all those crimes that supposedly Q was uncovering. Doesn't matter.
Don't matter now.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So this is just one step for me. This is just one step closer to validating that the fact that I'm saying that Trump is not for America first, and he is for Israel first. He's for himself first. He's for his family first. He's not for America first.
Okay.
So I mean, it's just.
Point.
I mean, it's just one extra step toward that. That's all. So there it is.
All right, Spaz, what do you think? Same question.
No, I get stuck on these little details, like what is an official act? What consists of an official act?
It's open for interpretation, my friend.
Yes,
apparently, yeah.
Open to interpretation.
Really
so do we? do you think that we now have to have some kind of committee or whatever to determine whether the president is committing an official act or not? Or would that be the same as hindering the executive branch on making critical decisions in real time?
Maybe there's a misbalance in the force. Maybe our three levels of justice aren't co-equal anymore. I don't know. I think like two of them don't seem to have any power at all. So, I mean, a presidential immunity to official acts. I mean, I don't know. When you're doing that kind of stuff, shit gets fucked up. Sometimes you make a wrong decision, but I don't know.
Okay.
Streams are set up, by the way.
It doesn't seem like much.
Yeah, let me do that real quick.
Sorry for my lateness. I'm tardy.
No worries.
I don't feel tardy.
So here's my my take on this, and I talked about this a little bit. I think on what was it, Sunday or Saturday? Whenever I did my last live stream. No, yesterday, Monday. I don't know, whenever the hell I did it. We look at the former presidents, especially ones like George Bush Jr., who basically lied about weapons of mass destruction and committed American troops under the AUMF, the authorized use of military force, without congressional approval or a declaration of war, and caused thousands of American deaths and millions of foreign deaths from a false pretense. And he gets to drive around his ranch in Texas with absolute immunity. Everybody seems fine with that. Or Barack Obama. Barack Obama, who ordered the death of an American soldier. I'm sorry, an American citizen through a drone strike without giving that American citizen due process on foreign land, on foreign soil, and was afforded absolute immunity. Or Bill Clinton during the Somalia thing, where he went in and went to take over Somalia from the warlords for unscrupulous reasons, causing the deaths of thousands of Somalis and dozens of Americans. Absolute immunity. And we can go on and on and on and on how many presidents ordered the assassination of foreign nationals, and nobody says a word about it.
So when we're talking immunity, we're talking like immunity from treason and everything, huh?
Yes. Absolutely.
There's nothing in the Constitution about that?
No. And not at
There
all.
actually is.
Well, it's not pertaining to this stuff. That's what the Supreme Court argued, and they lost because it's not pertaining to anything that has to do with today.
It actually does, but it's the one thing that nobody will do.
Nobody's going to claim it.
It's the Second Amendment.
What are you-
I know
what are you talking
nobody
about?
wants to have that discussion, but that's the point of the Second Amendment. When our government no longer represents us, when our government commits, I mean, that's the definition of treason, is standing against the American people. So in acts of treason, I mean, that's what the founding fathers designated. Just nobody will do it. I'm not saying that we should or shouldn't do it. I'm saying that's the reality of the founding of that document.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I have pity for the people who are, and you can tell me after I say this, you can tell me if you think I'm right or you think I'm wrong, but I have pity for the people who are saying that Joe Biden has the absolute authority to assassinate his political opponents because of this Supreme Court ruling. Like Harry Sisson, who basically called for the assassination of Donald Trump on Twitter.
Yeah, I saw that.
Well, he's a pissant, so who cares what he has to say?
But still,
No.
I mean,
There's thousands of people
Do
who
you
follow
remember?
him.
Do you remember the
fine.
Brunson
It's
case?
fine.
Did anybody
What?
pay attention to the Brunson case of the Supreme Court?
What is that?
All right, so these four brothers named Brunson, their last name was Brunson. They challenged. They brought a I forget what they called it. It's a type of brief that allowed them to bypass the lower courts and go straight to the Supreme Court. And the argument was that the elected officials had violated their oath of office in not investigating, that there was a reasonable foundation for belief that there was an issue with the elections, not whether or not the elections were stolen, but that there was a reasonable foundation for belief that there's probable cause to investigate. And therefore, according to their oath of office, they violated their oaths by not investigating. And the Supreme Court's response was, and I completely disagree with this, I mean, constitutionally and emotionally, I just find the entire thing repugnant. But their response was that elected officials hold a level of sovereignty beyond the scope of the Supreme Court. So the idea that Harry Sisson puts forth that Biden could come and just assassinate all of his political opponents gets into deeper waters than even that little retard can understand. He's nothing more than a paid mouthpiece. I don't think that guy has a brain cell to him.
Well, yeah, but the issue is, it's like I said, he has thousands and thousands of followers who are now believing, they now believe that Joe Biden, their savior and whatever, has absolute immunity to do whatever he wants to do. And and Jim Bob, I've been reading your comments. There are limits on immunity, on what you can do to immunity. But when you put those narratives out there, are those narratives harmful or helpful?
Very,
Right?
very
They're very harmful. And that's exactly what I'm trying to point out here. That the ignorance of these people are going to get people hurt. Now Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the bartender in chief over there, wants to impeach what's his name? Clarence Thomas. Again, because of what she thinks is a bad ruling in the Supreme Court. So look at where we're at as America.
I got a quick point that will illustrate the idiocy of that retard with the 3-letter name. Did anybody pay attention to who? It was a 6-3 decision, but did anybody pay attention to who was on what side? Because we had, and I forget exactly what the split was in names, but we actually had one liberal stand with the conservatives and one conservative stand with the liberals. So this was a cross-platform, bipartisan, final decision. If this was politically across the board. So if she's going to go after Clarence Thomas on this decision, then she also has to go after whichever liberal justice it was that stood with him. And this is how stupid these people are, because they speak before they know.
Oh yeah, I agree. And I also agree with Sean Joe that immediately talking about political assassination as presidential immunity is stupid. It's absolutely fucking stupid.
Well, it is, particularly in light of the fact that the last time there was a poll, they assessed that right about 93% of the nation and this is an astounding number, and somebody should probably go look this up just to verify, but I believe it was about 93% of the nation now believes that it's time to assassinate politicians when asked the question. And this is both sides of the fence. This isn't one side over the other, because we're all guilty of having those thoughts at this point, I would believe. But you add that in, that America is I mean, we're one match strike away, and now they want to add this to the fire.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that you stating that this is dangerous rhetoric to have, and no matter how vehemently you state it, is still an understatement to the reality that we face.
Okay. Warrior, let me ask you a question. Why do you think that Joe Biden's administration didn't stack the Supreme Court?
Because Joe Biden is going to need immunity. He's going to need that presidential immunity for all his official or unofficial acts. I mean, the reality is that is the Supreme Court going to go and see all the cases that are brought up against Biden, if any cases come at all, with our current DOJ?
Well,
that's the question I have, and I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna happen.
It's a pass. It's a pass for everybody.
Yeah. Everybody gets that's a blanket immunity. It's it almost seems like everybody's in the same club. It's like, oh, everybody's doing some stupid shit or going to be doing some stupid shit, right. And we're just going to go ahead and so the tongues don't go wild and leaks don't come out. We're just going to go ahead and give everybody a blanket immunity now.
Well, there's another question. Is this presidential immunity period, or is this blanket immunity across all the?
Well, it's a limited immunity. So here's the problem with all of this.
The president or what?
Just the president.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just the president.
So the only way it's going to ever come to Joe Biden is if we can officially prove that he never really became president.
So
that boat is sailed.
There's some greater outstanding issues with this too. So the Harry Sisson retard, he needs to go back to school and quit running his mouth on the internet is what he needs to do. And he needs to leave his little boyfriend alone and stop paying attention, because there's two implications here. Is one, that we're dealing with a multifaceted judicial system where the haves and the have-nots, and the voices and the no voices, et cetera, et cetera. So it's almost pointless to argue over what's constitutional or legal, because they're just going to do whatever they want anyway. We're already seeing that. But exactly. The other thing is, and here's another implication, because when this little moron speaks up and his lack of understanding, like basic, the book is not that big. I had it here somewhere. Here we go. The Constitution of the United States of America could be read in about an hour.
Yeah.
Could be read in about an hour. And there's a section in here that talks about using military force against American citizens. There's sections in here, like you were bringing up before, that talk about due process and everything else. Yeah. But more importantly, there's sections in here that talk about using military force against American citizens on American soil.
Passe comitatus.
So, yeah, Harry Sisson, you damn retard, go do some homework.
Yeah, but the whole reason why I brought that up,
right?
And Band Mom, I absolutely hear you. What you're saying, is that for people like us, and I mean everybody here, not just the people on the panel, but the people in the chats also, including everybody on Reverend Ranch channels. Welcome to you guys, by the way, who consume as much media as we do and listen to people like Rachel Maddow, who are throwing out these ridiculous narratives not only ridiculous but dangerous narratives.
Yeah.
In order to keep people under the fear porn umbrella. Foxy lady, how you doing? And what's up, Scott? Good show today. I watched your show today, Scott. Yeah, Richard Madcow, exactly. Not only is it dangerous for the American people, you're talking about at least 45 to 50% of the voters out there who watch people like Rachel Madcow and Harry Sisson and Parker and his brother and all of those little tweakers that are on TikTok. All of the paid fourth party shills that are pushing this weird narrative that it's okay now for the president to commit violence against American citizens for a Supreme Court ruling. Spaz, I am exactly with you. You shake your head and you go, that's just messed up. But this is what's happening right now. And Ban Bomb said, it's not blanket immunity, for fuck's sake. You'd be surprised, Band Mom, how many people think it is.
Yep, you'd be surprised.
You would be shocked.
I know it's not blanket immunity, so for fuck's sake. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you get enough people to believe about it, then
that's right.
You can do it, and they'll be okay with it, or
yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
All they're trying to do is change the people's opinions. That's all they're trying to do, and just rile individuals up. It's all it is it's retarded. I mean, people who speak like that should pay them no mind at all, because the reality is that the thousands of people they listen to is not going to sway anybody's vote. It's not gonna do anything but beyond create potential violence. That's it.
And I think that's
all they have really left.
Joel says they want violence.
Yeah, we've known that though. Yeah. That's the thing, is that we've known that for how long? They want violence. They want the quote unquote right or the MAGA group to be violent. You know, it's like, if it hasn't happened by now, it's not going to happen.
Well,
I don't think so.
They had riots in the streets. They had cities burning down.
But it wasn't MAGA. It wasn't
the
Patriots. It wasn't regular people. It was degeneracy. It was Black Lives Matter people. It was trans Antifa bullshit. You know, it was those individuals. So it just, look at who was creating the violence, and look where the messaging was coming from, and look who was getting involved and who wasn't getting involved.
And and also, the Antifa people were burning down their own neighborhoods, burning down their own stores, and burning down police stations. That one time you keep hearing it repeated over and over is when there was a bunch of people at the fucking Capitol knocking on their door. That's what we keep hearing over and over. Oh my God, we can't have that. Well, nothing was burning down. I'm just saying it was.
Hey, catch me up to speed, folks.
What's up, Salty? We're talking about the not consequences, but the fallout from the presidential immunity decision from the Supreme Court.
And what was that? I missed it. I tend to not watch news much. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
What's he Biden?
Basically, Trump has his presidential immunity, is what he has. The Supreme Court said he has it.
But limited,
which also implies, also implies that people, that current president and prior presidents also have it as well.
Yes, Jim Bob.
Do you, Warrior in the Garden, do you find anything peculiarly convenient about it?
Yeah, because if we're going to forecast in the future, presidential acts, if you will, they can be legitimized, no matter what they are. Going to war, funding certain people, I just see. The notion that Joe Biden is going to go to jail, or he's going to get prosecuted for his LLCs and all that kind of stuff is a pipe dream. I think it is something to grab. It is to give people something to grab onto and say it's going to happen one of these days. Damn it, it's going to happen. Well, no, it's not. No, it's not.
Right. Did you see what Jim Bob wrote in the chat there? That presidential immunity has always been there since the beginning. Now it's just on paper.
Right.
And everybody, and now the sky is falling.
Yeah. Right. Now there's a ruling on it for real. Now precedence is set, and all of a sudden people are freaking out about it. It's like,
exactly.
It's like,
but I think
hyperbolic much.
Yeah. My whole thing with that is it an official act to question an election? Right. If you're the president of the United States,
you have a right to question.
You consider that the election that you were in was fraudulent. Do you have the right to question it?
Sure.
Of course, right?
Yeah.
Because if I'm not mistaken, Trump was still president at the time.
Yeah.
Right till January 20th, when power was relinquished.
Right.
He was still president. January 6th, when he held that rally, he was still president.
And no matter how much they want to scream all of their BS rhetoric, the reality is that he never said anything. That's why they don't want to legally challenge that. They want to tie him to J6 and say, oh, it's all his fault. But they don't want to legally try to tie him to it, because when it comes down to facts, when it comes down to the merits of the argument, they won't pass muster. There are no merits.
Well, now they're talking about removing Jack Smith.
He was illegitimate from the beginning. I've been saying that since day one.
So have I.
And now Clarence Thomas has pointed that out. And on top of it, I would go a step further, not just remove Jack Smith, but also bring him up on charges for the theft of all the funds that he took to bring upon us this farce that he had no legal right to do.
I agree 100%.
He used money that wasn't his. He attacked citizens that he had no right to attack. There's a whole of charges this guy needs to be brought up on. He needs to spend the rest of his life in prison once he's tried and found guilty for his little garbage behavior. That's just my humble opinion. And you see how humble my opinions are.
Yeah. Well, I believe also that when the next administration comes in, the Justice Department is depending on who's in there, might bring charges.
Yeah, I know.
I think I think Jack Smith is kind of worried about that.
I know who I'm cheering for to be DOJ.
Who's that?
Miss Haba.
Haba.
Come on, that is. I'm not talking about because she's pretty, because somebody else hit me with that earlier today, and I find that such a BS argument. I have listened to that woman. I have listened to some of her legal theory and understanding and everything else. That is one sharp tack right there. Sharp.
Look, I'll give you that. She's a sharp lawyer.
Yes.
Yeah, but
and she has motivation and reason to be in that position. I think there would be nobody more astounding in that position than her. And I think she would be as outspoken and vehement as she has been in the defense of Trump.
All right, I'll give you that one. And she's also not hard on the eyes either.
Right.
Yeah, I'll give you that one.
And I saw a video today of her wearing a hat showing, it was a red hat, but instead of the normal Make America Great Again, it was a picture of Trump holding up his middle finger. And she was posing it at the airport. I'm like, come on.
You see, you may not be able to get Joe Biden on any charges, Warrior in the Garden, right? Because he's going to use this Supreme Court ruling of presidential immunity, just like everybody else is going to use it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's one thing you can get him on that you can't get Trump on. You can bankrupt Joe Biden just by sheer lawyer fees alone. Donald Trump has unlimited funds to pay lawyers.
There was a lot of things. There was a lot of things.
I'll wait till an actual until he gets arrested or he gets served papers.
I would like to see that. I would. Will it happen?
I'm not putting any eggs in that basket at all, by the way.
No. But I was just making an observation that's the difference between going after a president after he's out of office. They wanted to bankrupt Donald Trump so he couldn't run for office. And every time that they did something to him, and the worse that it was, the more money that he made.
That just backfired on him completely.
It keeps backfiring. Thank you, Vanita.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, Rev's in love with Trump's lawyer. That's okay.
What's her name again?
I can think of worse things.
Lena Haba, but let me tell you, it's not because of her appearance. I'm a sapiophile. Her brain turns me on. That chick, I'm telling you,
Bob too. She was pretty smoking hot.
I mean, she's a total smoke show, no doubt, but that's not the issue at hand. Her intellect is astounding, and everybody's so busy, checking out her TNA, they're not realizing that this woman is a force to be reckoned with. I mean, I would absolutely adore either playing chess with her or arguing a case in the courtroom against her, just to see how impressive and astounding she is.
I don't think playing with her chest is going to get you anywhere.
Play with her chest.
Chess.
Oh
my God.
I'm sorry. I thought you said you want to play with her chest. I'm like, why would you do that? I mean, I know why you would do that.
64 squares,
Yeah.
I think she's married.
I believe it.
We don't care.
It ain't to me.
Yeah.
It's important.
Everybody heard today.
When they're married, they wear the ring of invisibility.
Speaking about lawyers, that Rudy Giuliani got disbarred in New York today.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
He doesn't have immunity. He doesn't have immunity.
Mm-mm. No, they're just going out. They're just being vindictive right now. That's all they're doing.
No,
he doesn't have immunity, and they're being the whoever's going after him would be disbarred. The court system in New York City or New York State is being vindictive, and they're being personal. They're making it personal now, and so they're gonna, anybody who they can destroy, they're going to destroy. So the aftermath and the people around him for the next 4 years are going to be taken to court. They're going to be sued again. They're going to be. It's going to be. This is what they're going to try and do. They're going to try and destroy the people around him, and that's a tactic that the left has done, or the whatever side you want to call it, has done for years and years and years and years, is to financially ruin somebody, or take their ability to practice law, or take their ability to practice medicine, or whatever it is. It's somebody who has the power to take away something and have a grudge. They're gonna hold it and they're gonna implement it, and that's what we're starting to see.
I don't know for what cause. All I heard was that he was disbarred and his name was taken off the rolls as a practicing attorney in the state of New York. I don't know why, and it could be because of the lawsuits that he's going through. I have no idea. I didn't read that far. I'm shocked that it took this long, to tell you the truth. So I agree with Warrior, by the way. I think that, but I'm also going to put a little caveat at the end of it. I think they're not going to stop going after Trump's affiliates from his first run, from his first 4 years. But one of the biggest things, and here's a little caveat, one of the biggest things that they're going to have to contend with now is that every conversation with the president of the United States, Donald Trump at the time, none of that is admissible in court anymore. Because one, the immunity also held up the executive privilege thing.
Yeah.
Plus, you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to explain the whole entire thing, but the executive privilege, which is one of the things that Jack Smith just bypassed completely, was executive privilege. And that's why, what's her name? What's the lawyer that has the documents case? You know what I'm talking about. Kept delaying and delaying and delaying and delaying it, is because a lot of it had to do with executive privilege.
Right.
And Jack Smith kept filing amicus brief after amicus brief. Yeah. So it's very possible that the entire documents case, because of this Supreme Court ruling, will get thrown out.
It should be thrown out anyway because of due process violations. Because what the Federal Bureau of Investigation and Jack Smith's little clown crew did with the evidence was in itself enough to what do they call it? Fruit of the poison tree. So and when they say tree, and I want you to understand this, when they say tree, they mean that because it's everything else that evidence implies. So everything that was found or looked after or written or established because of that evidence, everything that came behind it is also part of that poison tree. So all of it goes. So every brief in motion that they filed behind that, based on that, is also fruit of the poison tree and gone. And that entire thing has completely violated due process, Fifth Amendment, Fourth Amendment, 14th Amendment. I think pretty much all of the amendments, including First Amendment. There's some First Amendment violations there as well.
And I believe that the whole reason why all of these people are going batshit crazy is because they never expected this to happen. They never expected Donald Trump to get presidential immunity. And now that they're making up all this stuff, they're seeing that specifically the Georgia case and Jack Smith's case are based on falsehoods and based on evidence that was obtained illegally.
Yeah. The biggest thing that they didn't expect is all of these cases, all of these, little retards like Harry Sisson and Richard Mad Cow and the whole, usual suspects didn't expect that the Democrat terrorist network would bring out an entire artillery, metaphorically speaking. They brought out an entire military artillery and fired all of it at Trump at once. And Trump turns into Neo from the Matrix and just starts dodging and weaving, and all the bullets are going past him. And then he stands up and he says, no. And he holds up his hand, and now all the bullets are just stopping. Boom. They didn't expect that. They didn't expect Trump to be able to pull that off. But here's the thing about it. This is the great thing, because when I say Trump pulled it off, I mean that Trump pulled off nothing. Trump did nothing. This is not Trump. They failed because they set themselves up for failure, because they tried to pull bullshit that wasn't reasonable to begin with. They cut corners to do it. They tried to throw shade on the courts as well while they were doing it. And they stepped on their own cranks. They literally have defeated themselves, and now they're upset at everybody else because they defeated themselves.
That's probably an accurate statement, because the last couple of days has been one cry fest after another of defeat for these people. I can't explain it, of how they got caught. I think they're angry that they got caught. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Judge Merchan just delayed Trump's sentencing till I think it was the end of September, right, Jim Bob?
You know why?
Well, yeah, because the case is probably going to be dropped.
Well, the case is probably going to be dropped, but he also wants to drag out, because if he goes ahead and sentences Trump, one, he knows he's not going to get away with actually sending Trump to prison. They already know that's not going to work. So anything that they try to do short of that is going to, when they do, is going to release Trump from the gag order.
Well, they partially released him from the gag order because Michael Cohen, who has his own TikTok account, who I am a follower of, was very angry about that.
Right.
He was very angry that Trump was going to be able to use his name when talking in public as a witness. And
so does Cohen get dragged on his own TikTok? I bet he does.
Oh my God, it's horrible.
I
watched it for the stupid comments. But
did that T ever show up?
The who?
The T.
TEAT.
Oh yeah, I got it. I got a bad flavor though.
What would you think?
It's some kind of elm something or other. It's a
kind of
funky
help
taste.
Soothe a little bit.
It did help a little bit, yeah. But my doctor told me just to stop talking.
What about the lozenges? How would you compare them? Because I haven't tried them yet.
They're both equally as good.
Okay.
Yeah. I just ran out of those. But September 18th.
Yeah, just check that.
Okay. They're going to come on appeal. This judge is probably trying to save his own ass, if that's possible, with the Stormy Daniels bullshit. And more than likely, and I read this in I don't trust Revolver very much. I don't know if anybody reads that wonderful periodical on the internet, but they said that the sexual harassment E. Jean Carroll thing is going to be overturned.
Oh yeah, easily.
Just
that
by
was
looking.
another violation of due process.
That was a complete violation of due process.
Why would Trump even? I mean, that's just some ugly stuff. Where's the sexual harassment possibility there?
Well, it was from 40 years ago.
Well, they never established a day. They never established an event. They never established anything. She brought no evidentiary support whatsoever. But they said, "Well, she sounds credible, so we're gonna do it anyway."
Never mind. It's cool.
And everything that they've done so far is to get the title. You just want the title. Twice impeached, civilly convicted for sexual assault. 34 times convicted. Donald Trump. How can you vote for somebody like this?
Well, that's the point.
Yeah, and every time that they do another thing to him, he gets more and more powerful within his own MAGA party there. I don't understand it. I can't figure it out.
He's like Obi-Wan Kenobi, huh? Hey,
kind of like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
On the common sense person, wouldn't they kind of understand that something that happened 40 years ago probably might not apply to who the man is right now?
Doesn't matter, because he was tried. He was tried criminally, and he was acquitted. This is a civil matter. So you can sue anybody for a civil matter, and a jury can say, "Yep, you're liable." Look at OJ. He was acquitted of murder, but civilly he was convicted of murder. So it's a civil matter, which is now on appeal, because it was more important to lie their way to get a conviction than it was to do it the right way. Because if they did it the right way, they would have got nothing. and they wouldn't have had all of these labels to stick onto his name. That's what I'm saying. So,
can I sue her for looking ugly and making me vomit every time I see her?
You probably could.
It is a form of public harassment.
It is, yeah. You probably could.
Let's do it, Spaz. Me and you, civil.
And that's the thing is everything that they're
Learn to
doing,
throw up on command.
they know that it's all going to be overturned. They know that they've violated due process. They know that they've violated court procedure and process. They know that they violated statutes and state law as well as U.S. code and federal law. They know that they violated all of it, but they don't care because the only thing they care about, this is something that the Democrats have done from day one, is they're worried about right now. They don't care about how much it's going to hurt them later on. So they want to put all these labels on Trump now, knowing that this stuff's going to get overturned. And they don't consider the fact that, like, what's starting to happen right now is, you know, they want to tie all this stuff to Biden, but they're not going to be able to walk away from the fact that they have burnt the Democrat brand, not the Biden brand, the Democrat brand. And America's waking up to that. And that's their fatal mistake.
But I think they know that they did. Like 2 years ago. I think they know that they have destroyed the political party in this country. Both of them.
Well, yeah, they're I mean, I recognize that both sides of the fence are part of the same terrorist organization.
Yeah, I don't think you can really consider Trump a Republican or a Democrat or an independent or any of that stuff. That's how we understand that it's kind of hard to think that they're going to fix the election. Because if they were going to fix the election, why bother?
Right.
Why bother doing all this stuff? I don't do appearances. They don't care about appearances. That's evident. Trump is, for some reason, I don't know why, for some reason, a real threat to these people.
He's not part of the club.
Right now, you have NATO. The leader of NATO, I don't remember his name, is looking to the NATO countries for ideas on how to Trump-proof Ukraine.
Right.
I don't know if anybody heard that one, but first of all, NATO should have nothing to do with Ukraine.
No.
Because they're not a part of Ukraine.
No, but that's part of the globalist agenda. And that's the reality that we have to face, is that politicians on both sides of the fence are all still prostituted. It's the same old story. Everybody that is supposed to be our representative has prostituted themselves. This has gone on throughout history. It's been the same groups of financial organizations and families, the same family names, the same corporations, causing the same problems for hundreds of years now.
But what does Donald Trump, this television star, this playboy, this whatever, why is he such a threat?
Because he's not playing along with NATO. And one of the biggest, partly because he's not playing along with NATO and the NATO nations, like, you know, just like making them pay and letting them know that, hey, I'm the big penis in the room. So, you know, stand back. And they don't like that. They want to be in charge. And the other part of it, and probably the bigger part of it is that he skipped their little game of due process. He didn't join the club and climb up the ranks. He said, screw all of you. And he jumped to the top, and he wasn't supposed to be able to do that. He went from zero to president, and he didn't kiss any rings along the way. He didn't wash any feet along the way. He didn't rape any children along the way and join in any satanic, you know, shit shows or whatever they call it that they do. He didn't participate in any of that. And that's why they're mad, because they don't have him among their ranks. They don't have control of him. They have no leverage over him. And Trump doesn't care, ostensibly anyway, from what I see. He doesn't care who he pisses off.
Yeah. I thought Stoltenberg retired, Sean Joe. That's why I couldn't remember the new guy's name, but I thought he retired. Jens Stoltenberg, he was the leader of NATO.
Right.
I thought he retired. I didn't know.
And think about this. NATO has become a political organization. Why is NATO participating in politics?
I don't know.
They shouldn't be.
They shouldn't be is absolutely right.
But who do they represent? Their politics lets you know.
Same reason World Health Organization is.
Yeah, the World Health Organization, the World Economic Forum, NATO, United Nations, they're all the same group. They're all the same Nazis from before, the same fascists as before, the same morons and retards that can't think past the end of their own wants and their own, crybaby agendas. That's it. That's what we're dealing with.
Don't they see that the United States is not following their agenda? And then when the United States doesn't follow, I'm talking about the people, not the government, the people are not following their agenda. It exposes them even more for the rest of the world to see, especially the World Health Organization or the World Economic Forum or any of those fucked up organizations that think they can impose their will on the American people. I mean, to me, it's just obvious that every time the American people call them out, they do something stupid to expose themselves even more.
Right.
So that's my opinion on that. But I truly believe that we're going to have the election of all elections come November. And the Democrat Party, or I should say the Uniparty, as I don't like to use that, but
the terrorist network is usually
our governmental terrorist network has already designed themselves that they have lost control, and they're going to suck it up for the next 8 years at easy while they regroup. Because one thing they do have is the long game, and I don't know. That's what I think. So, okay.
I think that if anybody who has raised teenagers, right? So teenagers teenagers are always suspect when they're not doing anything. When you're a parent, you still have to be suspicious, or you still have to be paying attention. But the minute teenagers, especially when a group of friends together, they're conspiring to sneak out for a party or something else, then these overt actions start. That's where they start screwing up, and they tell on themselves because they're trying to do more than what they normally do. So now they've raised, the suspicion level to, DEFCON 10. So the parents, aka us, paying attention, start to realize that all this maneuvering and overt action is now creating scenarios where they're actually telling on themselves, whereas before, when they were running at their normal stream, they were suspicious, but nobody was telling on themselves. And that's kind of the way I see all of this now. Is there this huge conglomerate of retards and morons are tripping themselves up left and right. These are supposed to be the smartest people of the world running all of these big organizations, but the reality is they are no different than you or I, except for you or I are smart enough to know that if we try to do some really stupid shit, everybody's going to figure it out, because not everybody is stupid. And these guys think that the world is dumb because they're out of touch. And so they commit these overt acts. That's why we're seeing more and more of the truth of what they are, is because they're trying to do stupid things, and their stupid things are showing.
Yeah. All right. I want to move on to the next one. The next topic I wanted to talk about was, I believe it was yesterday, Monday, that the Congress approved $176 million to a pharmaceutical company here in the United States. I think it was Moderna. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure. I probably should write stuff down, but I don't. For a bird flu vaccination. Have any of you guys, and we'll start with you, Warrior. If you heard about that, or even if you didn't hear about it, what do you think about it? Because it wasn't very prominent in the news. It came over one of my apps.
How much was it? How much was it?
176 million.
That's it?
To one company.
That's not a lot of money.
To develop
a pretty fair bonus.
A bird flu vaccine.
Okay, well then we clearly know what's coming down the pipeline.
It's Moderna, by the way.
We know.
Okay. Yeah.
We know that
develop.
We all lived through COVID. We knew, a lot of us knew what COVID was beforehand at the beginning of it. And then we're now past COVID, and we realized the shot was nothing more than a death jab. It was an experiment on the world population. I think if it worked well the first time, why wouldn't they do it a second time? And I think that's going to be one of the many tactics that the opposition, we'll call it that, the opposition is going to use in order to stifle people from going to the polls and voting for Trump.
Yep.
Okay. Spaz
that's my opinion. That's my opinion.
Spaz is indisposed.
It's the election flu.
Well, I asked Mr. Salty Nuts, what do you think about that?
It sounds familiar. The last time we had something similar to that is when we had COVID, and the vaccine was created 2 years prior to the patenting of the actual disease. So, how now they're just
COVID-19 was patented back in 2015. So
now
it's like
now they're just out in the open going, hey, last time we didn't tell you that we funded it and that we created the solution prior to there being a problem. But now we're just willy-nilly doing it all because we know we can give you another Lahaina and you'll just forget about this. And we're going to give you a bird flu hearing about, when's that vaccine rolling out, Tom? Oh, yeah, about 2 weeks after that.
Well, you think, Salty, do you think that they can coordinate like they did with COVID in less than 120 days? Because that's when the election's coming up.
Instantaneously, it's already been planned, so the timeline's
it's probably already in a warehouse somewhere.
Solution problem.
To be honest, it probably is.
All right, Bob.
Yeah, you're gonna get the sniffles. Grab yourself some OJ and walk outside in the sun. Wrap it up.
Yeah, right.
Call it good.
All right, what do you think, Reverend Rant?
I am actually considering the idea that yes, this was their plan. This is the plan that they wrote about, talked about, masturbated to, and took showers until the wee hours of the morning together about. But
geez,
I think that I know I should say what I feel instead of holding back. But
that was a lot of information.
Well, I mean, that's how far these people are invested into this stuff. Like I don't. It's astounding to me how much emotional attachment they put into their garbage behavior. But the point is that I think that they do monitor. I mean, look at where we're at in the world of AI and technology and everything else. I guarantee you, even right now, they're paying attention to us. Maybe not directly. They don't have, some Federal Bureau of Investigation agent sitting here. Oh my God, they're saying stuff now. I'm going to type this up. You know what I mean? It's not that, but there is an AI that's searching keywords and paying attention to how many people talk about this and how many people talk about that. And I wonder, and this is all speculation, I could be completely wrong, but I speculate that they're calculating what they can get away with and what they can't. And they might be, because I really think if they were going to release a full on, another, COVID 2.0, that it would be started already. They would need to start it already to get to pandemic levels by the time, we get to elections. And I wonder if they realize that if they do it again now, that there's too many people awake, so they might be reconsidering their plans. Because we've been watching a lot of their agenda and their ideas, just like the DEI crap, and now they're talking about adding P to the LGBTQR LMNO P STD crowd, because they want to add pedophiles in there as well. And some dumbass actually said that out loud, and everybody came undone about it, just like DEI, STD or whatever other initials they're using.
What is DEI? Isn't that
diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Diversity, equity, inclusion of sexually transmitted diseases. But the point is that it's failing. BlackRock learned a hard lesson. They had to walk away from it. Now they're trying to regroup and do something else, because Larry Fink is still a piece of trash no matter what. But the fact of the matter is that everything that they're trying to do keeps failing in their face, because they're trying to commit overt actions. They're trying to swim upstream. They're trying to go against the river. And it comes back to the same issue. Trying to control people is like trying to herd cats across a river. It's just, it's a fruitless endeavor. And yet they're still going to try to do it, and it's just not going to work.
Okay. Yeah, I think that a lot of people don't realize that the bird flu has been around for 20 years, or maybe even longer.
Yeah, back in 2005, it was a big deal.
Yeah,
but
it was a big deal.
The only one that gets to decide when it's a problem.
That's true. And then the first administration of Obama, there was 20. It was
avian flu.
Like 10 million people died of that, or something like that, somewhere around there, and no one batted an eye.
Yeah, that was the avian flu, and they didn't consider that a pandemic.
Yeah, they didn't exactly. That's the whole point here, is that who's determining what a pandemic is, and
yes,
and honestly, before I was going to interject, but Rev was on a rant there. To think about it,
that would be a cool name.
It's 120 days until the election. That's not enough days. That's not enough time to build up a narrative, and to have the dead bodies, the supposed dead bodies, and the TikTok videos and everything else. If this is going to happen, it's probably going to happen in the next first couple of years of 2015, 2016. That's because that's a roadblock. That was a roadblock. That was a big, it was a landmine that went off at the end of Trump's first administration, and it worked well as they see it, and they're going to do it again. Are they going to do it before the election? No. Violence is a lot easier and a lot faster to do before the election to scare people from going to the polls. Violence is, but if you want to shut down, because what did Trump do? I mean, we can logically look at it and go, yeah, Trump opened up the economy just a little bit, and people felt some relief from that, and they want it. And the Democrat play is probably, well, Trump is going to do that again, drill baby drill, all that kind of stuff. And then, well, what's a good way of deflating that balloon is what they did the first time around. So, I mean, are we still going to have excuses where, Trump was just one goddamn man and he can't do it all itself, and it's a whole another 4 years and repeat of the first 4 years? I mean, that's what we're looking at right now.
Well, I think that would be the best scenario, wouldn't you? If I were a nefarious group, head of a nefarious group of people, then yes, I would definitely say, what is the best way to deflate this guy's his ability to make America great again, or make it great, whatever the phrase is now. And it's a tactic that has not only just worked in the United States, but also worked around the world. So, I mean, if it worked for so many millions and millions and millions of people, or billions of people at this point, then why not do it again?
And the thing is that do we still have the Second Amendment now? Yes. Do we still have the First Amendment? Yes. Do we have does a majority of the people have a little more knowledge and a little more fortitude to say fuck you, I'm not wearing a mask, or I'm not taking your damn shot?
I think so.
Sure they do. So we'll see what happens here. We'll see if personal bank accounts, if all of our bank accounts get frozen because we won't take the jab. We'll see if they implement the passport, the vaccine passport, and all that kind of shit that they were supposed to be doing. That they implemented in certain areas, they tested it in certain areas, but didn't implement it nationwide like there was a big threat.
I think that the only way it's going to become a problem is if they actually distribute the problem with a massive effort, because
right, they're going to have to, if this is the plan, then the plan is that it's going to have to be upped. The shock value, the shock factor of all those videos we saw of people supposedly dropping dead in China, that shit has to happen in the grocery store. Somebody has to witness someone dropping dead in the grocery store, or kids dropping dead. You have nationwide 10,000 fifth graders that just dropped dead on the same day, or within a week time frame. Something of shock value of like that. It's going to have to happen in order for people to get back in that fear. That fear blink.
The last time they beat that horse until beyond it was dead.
Yeah, they're like, oh, the cases. It's not going to be about the cases. It's going to be the deaths. They're going to be pushing the deaths now. Because last time it was all about the cases because people weren't dying fast enough and dying in massive amount of numbers. Well, if you have a jabbed populace, a percentage of the population that's jabbed, and they introduce a new virus, well, it's not a far fetch to say the new swine or the new bird flu is going to attack those individuals who got jabbed, add on to the scaffolding they currently have in their system, and reduce their immune system even further, so that a common cold or even the flu will kill them. And it's not rocket science, people. All you gotta do is extrapolate it and look at it.
True. Reverend, do you want to say something?
No, I think you pretty much covered it.
Oh, I saw your hand go up there. Oh no, that's your face.
No,
by the way, because Rev's on X over there. I am not suicidal. I don't have suicidal thoughts, nor am I homicidal. Okay, so I'm just saying if that's their actual plan, that I just called it out.
Right. Spaz, everything okay?
Oh yeah, everything went out to the curb like it should.
Good.
You took my ex-wife out.
Well, a body is a little more difficult to.
I mean, you said you're taking the trash
in multiple
out.
Garbage bags. But
okay. Before we move on to the next subject, real quick, the Thursday is the 4th of July. What are we doing on Thursday? Should we not do a show on Thursday?
I'm just letting you know that I'm not going to be here. I've got in the afternoon. I have the fundraiser for Pinon. So if anybody wants to come by, and I upgraded my services so I can have 10 people in my chat at the same time. We can all just hang out or whatever. Come and go. I'll be dropping links and all that kind of jazz. But I'll be actually spending time with some off-screen friends on Thursday night. So I won't be here. If you guys do a show, I won't be here.
That's right. We're all done with Mental Illness Awareness Month, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought it was groomer awareness.
Let me know. Send me a message. Let me know if you guys, because I'm not doing anything, so I can be on. So just send me a message and let me know if you want to do a show on Thursday night.
I'll be here if you want to.
Yeah, like I said, just send me a message.
Yeah,
and we'll schedule.
I live in a town full of drunks, and also in a town that has more police than populace. If you drive through the town where I'm at, if you drive like at 1 a.m, you drive through the middle of town, it's like spotting wolves. Every shadow is going to have a wolf in it, and by wolf I mean white cruiser with the gumballs on the top.
Oh, there you go. Okay, I just wanted to just let you guys know. Just let me know what you're doing, and then we'll organize it.
I'll be sitting here.
Okay, so let me get to the last thing that I want to talk about tonight. And I'm going to kind of pose the question, and then we'll start with Reverend Rant and go all the way the opposite direction. One of the other Supreme Court rulings that came out Friday was the Chevron decision that had to do with a lot of these three-letter organizations and their regulatory capabilities. So we'll start with you, Reverend Ramp.
Well, it's not just that it had to do with their regulatory capabilities, but it struck down something that they were using that was purportedly based on case law, but they were misrepresenting to use it to exaggerate their capabilities. And I think that in many ways it needed to be done, but it's being done for the wrong reasons. And I think ultimately us as Americans should revisit what the limitations and regulations are of these three-letter organizations, because we're finding that none of this legal authority truly applies, but yet is being used. So that's the best answer that I can come up with, is that we need to work together and get the answer right.
Okay. I don't know where Salty went, but we'll go to Spaz. Do you think this was a good decision?
Well, sure. Yeah, I think a lot of those decisions made back in the day were, not well, just like the Federal Reserve Act, know, and we got to, I don't know, I think we got to march back and start, squatching these branches, these olive branches that have been all only growing in one fucking direction. And it's obviously not, for the people or to give us any shade or anything like that.
Right.
Olives on that side all the time, just like that glitch in the fucking voting machines, always to the left, right? Always to the left. And it's just, So, I think this is just another one of those things that they slipped in back in the day, and they've been building off of it. And well, I guess the Supreme Court came in and fucking swept the leg. And I think it's a good thing.
Good.
I think it's a good thing.
Salty, what do you think about that decision?
I have no background information on it. If it's just about regulations in general, is what our government has been known to do, I don't think that they're doing it right. Just like when they put out a new infrastructure thing, they don't actually do infrastructure. And so the purpose for most of their regulations aren't really focused on the people, but in benefit of, either the company or, the lobby that's attached to the company, so they're not looking to do us any favors with regulations, just like the FDA is not really checking your food for bad stuff,
Right. That's basically what part of that decision says, is that these organizations that weren't passed through Congress, like the FDA or the EPA or the IRS. The IRS, believe it or not, was developed by one person in 1862. And it became a tax collecting organization.
And you'll never guess the Federal Reserve Act and the 16th Amendment were both brought to you by, and this time it's not Pfizer.
No,
it was by, in both instances, it was a majority of Democrats.
Yep.
In Congress, and it was Democrats that brought it, just like Democrats brought you slavery, just like Democrats brought you poverty, just like Democrats brought you the majority of the STDs that we face today. You're just gonna have to accept it.
Well, yeah, I agree with that. Okay, Anything else to add, Salty Nuts?
Well, growing up as a toddler, I didn't wear a seatbelt in the back seat, and I came out okay. That doesn't necessarily mean that
well,
we
that's
shouldn't
subject to opinion, but
yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean that seatbelts aren't useful in the protection of occupants of a vehicle. But I do think that should, where the government steps in, I think that the people should as well, or not as well, but instead, that's something that can be done either within the family and if need be locally, like, hey, or give a benefit. Like if you wear a seatbelt, then, and you don't have any notices of non-seatbelt, then you're paying only this much a gallon. There's an incentive versus penalty.
The seatbelt laws were passed on behalf of the insurance lobbyists so that the insurance companies could gain a greater profit margin.
Nope. That was created in what was it, Pete, in 1984 by Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Yeah.
And Ross Perot had a good hand in that on pushing the car industry to put a safety belt in vehicles.
Yeah,
that's right. Yes,
so we can thank that little man for it.
Just back to it's a kind of like my vision of
go back and follow the money
of my generalized overview of where human beings should be making some common sense decisions and not rely upon government. And I've literally talked to a lady about this, and we're like, well, we need a government program for that then. I'm like, what the fuck? No, we don't.
Hey, we need a government program that controls government programs.
Exactly.
So we need government programs like we need a whole net.
I should have just handed her a feed bag. Here you go.
Yeah. Hand her a spoon and a bowl.
All right, Warrior, what about you? Give me your thoughts.
I think this is a step in the right direction as far as getting because you think about it, the massive amounts of money goes into these non-elected official positions in these organizations, and that just we're talking a lot of organizations here, people, and a lot of those organizations probably have foreign influence as well. So anytime I see a deregulation or a delegitimizing of an organization from our quote unquote government, I am for. And it's nice to see the Supreme Court actually ruling on something that can impact the American people in a positive way. And I think that if and this is a big if Trump is for America, what he would do is he would take the ruling of the SCOTUS and he would absolutely hack and slash and cut branches off at the root and solderize and lay salt on it so it never grows again.
I agree.
Okay, so but that would be a wonderful thing if he did it, because that would actually help everybody. And that's something that is very difficult to do, to start another organization, especially the size of like the EPA or the educational department or the transportation department or any of these large departments where they only have selected individuals, which the selections come from the staff of the president's office. Is that correct? If I'm right, if I'm correct on that,
yeah.
These are appointed positions. They're basically favors. This is it's a position of favor after you've shown some loyalty to a certain person or a certain group of individuals. And then you'll get this position. But you have to push our narrative. If you do it, you have to be a yes man or a yes woman.
They're unelected officials,
right? So if I say if because this is a big if, I one side of me hopes it actually benefits everybody like it's supposed to. And we actually clean up our government. This is a process to drain the swamp, quote unquote, drain the swamp. I'm for it. I think there should be. I think the Supreme Court needs to be a little more bold on their decision makings, and get a little cowboy on it and a little Americanized on it. I think it'd be a lot better way as opposed to kind of humming and hawing around some shit that they have. I mean, it can be frustrating, but also it's also understandable why certain positions are made by the Supreme Court, from the Supreme Court. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if this can be implemented at all. If it can be implemented, hey, that'd be great for everybody. But if it can't, then it's just a show of like, oh, we won something. Look, we won, or more hopium in the water. It's just, we'll see what happens.
Jim Bob's comment. Did you read that, Warrior?
No, this is going to be one of my measuring sticks on Trump. Does he actually reduce the bloating and unelected bureaucracy? That's the big thing.
Yeah, that is a huge thing.
I think there's a lot of people that are in the same boat, Jim Bob, as you, because a lot of people are starting to see what is occurring now, what occurred in his first administration, and everything has been taken away. People don't want to be able to, the sign of a pen, having things taken away from them or added on top of them, and they have no control over it. And like I said, if he's for America, this is what he'll do. That's the big thing, is if he's truly for America first, he's going to get rid of these organizations. They can go those people on day one. He has to get rid of these organizations, because now there's a precedent set for it.
Yes, but on day one, he should eliminate the Department of Education. Period.
The IRS and the Federal Reserve.
2.
And I mean, if he doesn't go and just with the machete and just go ape shit on everything, then you'll know exactly where his loyalties lie. Not with the American.
I wish he would have done that the last time, but
he had the power to do it last time.
It didn't happen. So
I'm going to be looking for the things that nobody notices that he didn't have to do, and it did affect us positively as people, and it had no benefit for him to do it. He got no standing ovation. He got no kudos, no gotcha points, no money, no benefit. I'm looking for the silent acts of kindness when striking something down or putting something in place, and the small things that, like helping out inner city homeless stuff on the DL when nobody's looking. I want to see those things. I want to find those little nuggets. And that's an easier way for me to gauge, is he really for the people, or is this a big stupid show? Because, I don't know if you've been watching throughout your lifetime, but we're now tuned in, and it's normalized to not get laws passed, but instead restrictions, limitations, exclusions, just these little attachments that hamstring people instead of give them an opportunity. So it's been that way, and we're dialed in. We expect it. Govern me harder. That's the same channel, same time.
I got a great example for you. So there was a guy who bought a 2.5 acre piece of property, 2.5 acres. Down the middle of the property was a drainage ditch. The drainage ditch was eroded and in bad keep when he bought the property. So he not only decided to repair the drainage ditch, but he also decided to move it and decided it would work better and in a different location and run. Well, the EPA decided that drainage ditch was actually a navigable waterway, and as such, fined him $59,000 a day while he was fighting this in court. And the courts, and this is the implication of the Chevron decision, is that the courts had, because of that decision, to let the EPA carry the onus of responsibility and legal action, and the court couldn't file any injunctive relief based on that. So even while the hearing was going on, this guy's getting charged $59,000 a day for moving a ditch on a 2.5 acre piece of property. Now think about that. A drainage ditch. We're not talking about a canal or anything like that. We're talking about a drainage ditch on 2.5 acres that, in the overall, issue of rainfall impact, had zero effect on the surrounding properties. But yet, because somebody wanted to exercise their personal authority that this guy is facing millions upon millions of dollars in fines as he's trying to defend himself. And like I said, this decision restricts the courts from even being able to apply temporary injunctive relief to say, okay, dumbasses, all your stupidity is on hold until we come to a decision. They're not allowed to do it. And then even more so, as he's fighting this, whatever the final ruling of the court is irrelevant, because according to the Chevron decision, that the regulatory body has more authority than the courts do, which I find astoundingly dumb.
Yep.
The problem, though, is also the reverse, that the statutory support and case law support for the courts is also short of adequate.
What's the matter, Rev? Does suing people for overly exorbitant, unrealistic amounts kind of hit home with you?
Yeah.
Does that strike a nerve?
Well, there's a difference between suing somebody and getting fined by a regulatory body. That
I was just going to ask you on a personal note, how did we derive to that amount? I mean, that's kind of like an Alex Jones. We're going to sue you for $18 quintillion. You know, it's just like.
So you really want to know?
Buy some of my pills. I don't have a quintillion dollars.
You can look this up. There's documentation all over the internet that
I don't care what's legal. I care about what's right, and that's where I'm pointing that finger. Is, did he actually harm you of that much income?
No, I'm not going to have that discussion with you on a live broadcast.
There you go. Yep. No.
All right, but it's not. I didn't mean to.
I was going to give you the figures, but no, I'm not going to have that discussion on a live broadcast. No, that's going to violate.
I didn't mean to take such a jab, but it was familiar, and I don't understand it. Not pointing at your case. I'm pointing at, like the stupid Alex Jones stuff. Is that not a little ludicrous on the amount that he got nailed
the
for?
$1.2 billion for saying the Sandy Hook stuff?
More than him and 100 others like him would ever earn in their lifetime.
Here's the thing. There's a difference between arguing compensatory damages and punitive damages. And they hit him with punitive damages, which they have no logical justification for, other than they said, well, I feel like.
Yeah.
Whereas with what I'm doing,
regulations on that last topic of regulations, this is a fine area to approach.
Right. But we're discussing two distinctly different scenarios, because
I know I didn't mean anything. It was supposed to be a professional jab, not,
no.
I wouldn't have said it if I didn't consider you friend. Come on,
Right.
Yeah, I think he was joking.
And compensatory damages, when you argue compensatory damages, there's a mathematical formula and evidentiary support that you can show for those compensatory damages. When a court rules in punitive damages, then that's more of, well, I feel like you deserve.
Oh,
yeah, that's fine. It was just supposed to be humor, man. I didn't mean to strike a nerve.
Don't worry about it.
All right, moving on.
I think that's that's all the questions that I got for this evening. I think I'm all talked out.
It's okay, sir. You go rest up, man.
So anyway,
can I ask a personal? How's the treatments? How's the health? Have we had any recent news reports from doctor updates or anything?
I don't do anything until next week. So the treatment that I had was the 24-hour treatment, and that takes time to go through my system, and then I go back Tuesday or Wednesday of next week or something like that, and then everything starts over again.
But how do you feel? Do you feel like what you should, as predicted, based on what you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm not anything.
Territory.
Yeah. Nothing bad.
Okay.
Normal nausea with the stuff, and that's already passed. The only thing I'm really dealing with now is my voice, and all I got to do is just shut up for a while. So
it takes a bit. If I keep going, it's pretty bad. Yes, Baz, we do honey, but not that kind. You have to actually use actual honey.
Yeah. Anyway,
Go in here.
so thank you for asking. I appreciate that. I won't be doing a show tomorrow or Thursday morning. And then we'll see if we do a show Thursday night. But anyway, Warrior, we'll start with you and we'll go around and end with Spaz. So tell us what's going on for the rest of the week.
All right, for the rest of the week, tomorrow I've got Warriors Workshop, which I will be working on a lighthouse for Make Karen Great Again. Make Karen's Great Again. I've been trying to find a piece of wood that doesn't split on me, so I'll be working on that tomorrow, and I'll have some music, and just come and hang out, do some chores in the background or whatever it is. Work on a project yourself, and just want to get there's a place to hang out pretty much, and not news related. So I know people need a reprieve from that, and I did that today. I played Modern Marvels for a couple hours today to give people a break from it. And had pretty good responses from that. And then on Thursday at 2 p.m. in the afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern, and that'd be noon on the West Coast, I am having a fundraiser for Pinon and his family. So there will be direct location links in the chat. We'll be constantly dropping those. And if anybody wants to hang out with Alec Disco, I'm pretty sure you will. She'll have the links and she'll be spamming them all the time. And then if you can't direct link, but if you have gold pills that you want to donate, I would ask that you please go over to Pionon's channel and then donate the gold pills to his channel. And that way there's no discrepancies of me being accused of stealing or whatever bullshit was that happened last time.
Nobody worried about that shit.
Yeah, I know you guys aren't, because I showed everybody receipts what I did. So
yeah.
I'm taking power and energy away from the naysayers and the haters. So so those are the two ways to show. And I have some gold pills that I'm going to zero out and give to Pinon as well. So even if people don't hear it, I'm still whatever gold pills I do get, if I get any on that day, I will turn around and give them right back to Pinon. I'll donate those as well. So that's being there on Friday. I'm off on Friday, so I may not do a stream. I haven't decided yet. But then on Saturday, Salty and I are going to have a show. I'm not quite sure what time we're going to have the show, but probably around 7 my time, so 5 o'clock his time, I'm thinking. And then Sunday, Disconnect Theater. And so anybody has questions, comments, concerns, or whatever, you can feel free to DM me, or whenever I have the open dojo night, you're more than welcome to come in and speak your mind, because that's one place where I'm cultivating. I mean, on Saturday we went 5 hours on the open dojo, so that was completely unscripted, and it was a great conversation, and people just enjoyed listening to us talk. And I think it's necessary for not just for me, but I think for a lot of people who have the content, who have the ability to have a broadcast, to create content. I think it's important to try and get like this panel with different points of views, different ideas, and then we just have an open Discord and open conversation about it, and we don't get our fifis hurt, and we just talk about it. So that's what I'm trying to cultivate.
We're doing Saturday over at my place, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Saturday on your channel.
Yeah. Well, the content of that Saturday is something that nobody's going to want to miss unless, I don't think they've seen it before, but we're going to really, really focus on actual connecting of dots with receipts, every single one of them. So the compilation of the overhead, larger, the aerial view of all things going on and why. Just going to connect some dots, and it's going to hurt some feelings probably, but if you don't want to know, then that's fine. I get it.
Gotcha. All right, Warrior, anything else?
No, just keep the lines of communication open, everybody, and I appreciate it as much. Whenever you see, I'll be posting one tonight or tomorrow morning. Post about an announcement for Thursday, and the best way you guys can do is just share that. If you see it, share it, and like it and share it. Put a comment, say I'll show up or whatever. Really trying to get the word out for Pine On. I just have a little ting in my heart saying that his family needs some help, and so I want to try and help him as much as we can as a community. I think we should do that for him because he was a pretty intricate part and the whole movement of Q or whatever it is. I mean, all that stuff aside, he was wrongfully imprisoned. And he was a breadwinner, and he's far away from his family. He's outside the 500-mile range where he should be for his family. So he's by himself, and I think we need to help ease his. And I forgot about this. He's going to be able to call in on the show. So we're actually going to hear from the man between 2:30 and 3, somewhere around there. And so if you guys want to listen to how Pine On is, it's going to be through Mel. And she's going to be on the show as well. She's got all his information, and she's in contact with him. So he's going to call her, and then she's going to be on the show, and then basically having the phone next to the microphone, and then we're going to have a conversation that way. So as long as he can talk, I don't know what his restrictions are or whatnot. So,
hey Warrior, what time Saturday can we do the Saturday at Eastern noon?
Eastern. So you want to do a morning show on Saturday?
No, noon. Eastern noon.
Eastern noon, so 11 o'clock my time, 10 o'clock your time. Or it'd be 9 o'clock your time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about 3 Eastern?
We can talk. Just shoot me some times and DM me or something.
Jim Bob was asking in the chat.
Okay. That's I don't know yet. I have to take a look at my schedule, but I'm pretty sure any of those times will work.
Sometime in the afternoon.
In the afternoon. Like I was thinking maybe like 1 o'clock your time in the afternoon or 2 o'clock in the afternoon your time.
Okay.
Does that work? Okay. Details will be posted out. So by all means, please show up. I mean, it should be a pretty good show, people, on Saturday. So beyond that, I'm out. I've talked enough tonight. I'm gonna go kiss my dogs. Good night. So, guys, Pete, thank you very much. Spaz, good to see you. Rev, appreciate talking to you. Salty, I'll talk to you later. And everyone out there, have a wonderful night. Good to see you out here. And let's turn out for Pine On Thursday. So beyond that, everyone, be well. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, let's go to Salty Nuts. You got anything going on for the rest of this week besides the Saturday show?
Then not that I just come out at random sometimes when I get something that I think's worth seeing. So sorry for that. I don't normally schedule my shows, and I've gotten through about 715 of them that way. So people should be used to that randomness.
So just look out for your notifications.
Yeah, but definitely Saturday it's going to be content delivery time, dot connecting, and there, people are going to want to hold their middle finger up at that content, and it's not the friendliest stuff, not something that you want to adhere to. There will be resistance, there will be closed minds and kickback and all that stuff, but I hope people take it for what it is, for what they actually see.
I'll probably see you there.
All right.
I'll give you my honest opinion.
Thanks again, Pete. And Rev, I hope you provide an opportunity for me to get to know you better so that that I didn't mean harm with that last topic.
Right. Well, there's a boundary of what I can talk about and not talk about right now.
Yeah.
Okay. For legal purposes, I understand it.
Right.
Okay. Don't worry about it. All right. Thank you, Salty.
Take care, guys.
We'll see you next time.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Let me know about Thursday. Well, whatever. Okay. Mr. Reverend Rant.
All right. So I have a lot of my normal routines are going on Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Alligator Time. Then on Tuesdays, I am on with Chris's World right before I hurry up and get everything set up in a rush so that I can be on in time with, of course, our good friend Pete the Patriot. But I do have something cool coming up Wednesday of next week on the 10th. I have Jennifer Pippin of Moms for Liberty is going to join me for the full 2-hour show. And I'll tell you what, I've spoken to this lady. I've worked with her before as part of the Republican Executive Committee. I've worked with her, and this lady is astounding. She's energetic. She's a lot of fun to talk to. You guys are going to love the conversation. So that's going to be Wednesday, the 10th at 9 p.m. Eastern Alligator Time. That's Eastern Standard Time for those of you that don't know. So mark your calendars and make sure you're there. It's going to be, I think, a fantastic show. And even more so, we're talking about, I'm going to do more with Moms for Liberty. And I have some other things in the works as well. So watch for the upcoming announcements for those as well. Things are going to start getting a little more exciting as we get further into this crazy election cycle.
Absolutely. All righty. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And I guess we'll see you on Thursday.
Love you guys. Appreciate you. Everybody keep your chin up. Keep marching forward. We're going to do it together. See you guys.
Take it easy. Bye. And then we got Mr. Spaz. Of course.
I found you.
Yes.
I don't know if you've seen me in the chat, but I seen you in Due Diligence's.
I didn't see him in there.
Yeah, well, that's okay. I seen you in there. I found.
In Due Diligence chat.
Yeah, remember?
Oh, yeah. I saw you in there. Yeah.
Yeah, that was very interesting.
Yeah, we're gonna try and get together and maybe do a show together. We'll just see what happens in the future. But
he's got a good group.
I think we could have a good time with him. So
he's got a good group.
So what we have for Spaz is mandatory Metal Monday, which you were playing some really good Metallica stuff yesterday. I enjoyed that. Bit.
Yeah, for a little bit.
And then that's mandatory.
Well, yeah.
It's at 6:30 p.m. Avocado time or 9:30 Eastern time. That's me. You have to show up. It's mandatory.
Yeah, next Monday's 2 years.
That's right. And that'll be show what, 104?
104, yeah.
104, yeah. And then the rest of the time, we don't find Spaz. Spaz finds us. He's the man, the myth, the legend. Brother, thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Sir. I appreciate being here.
Let me know about Thursday.
It probably doesn't look good. I'll probably be somewhere, but
okay.
I'll always come home. I love my bed. So if I'm here and I see you on, I'll hit the buttons and I'll.
All right, whatever you got to do, just let me know. All right, brother. Thank you very much.
You have a great night.
I will see you soon.
Much
okay.
love.
Bye. All right, guys. Thank you, everybody, including everybody who was over on Reverend Rant's channels. Appreciate you guys being here. My voice is gone. It is gone. Everybody over on the my YouTube, my ex, DLive, Eric Chenault, thank you very much. And everybody over on thepill.net. Thank you for all the gold pills, red pills, blue pills. Until next time, I appreciate everybody, and I will see you as soon as I can. Bye-bye.